लखनवी हो या हैदराबाद, ऑर्डर करें बिरयानी आज ही, स्टार्टिंग एट ₹149।
A very good evening to everyone present here. Very good evening, all of you. Hello and welcome to a live session for UGC NET Paper 1. As you all know, that today we are going to discuss the different strategies which are required to crack the NTA UGC NET examination for Paper 1. This is exclusively for all those students who are aspirants of UGC NET in various fields, and exclusively we have chosen paper 1 and the strategies that are required for aiming at paper 1 and for qualifying paper 1, not just for your NET examination but also for attaining JRF. So today we are going to discuss variety of things in this video, in this live session, along with all your questions, so that you can get a bigger perspective into how you can crack the code of NTA UGC NET paper 1. A very warm welcome to you all, and I would really would be elated to answer also all your questions with regards to the different problems that you would be facing, especially for paper 1. Also to let you know that we are starting an exclusive batch for paper 1 for NTA UGC NET, which starts tomorrow, that is on 2nd November 2020, and we will have live classes in which you can ask a variety of questions live, and you can also get the mentorship along with a variety of PDFs, specifically of notes, and a lot of mentorship and doubt clearing sessions directly from the educator itself. But before that happens, let us discuss in detail the requirements and the strategies which are there exclusively for paper 1. So let us begin with the session for today. Yes. A very good evening to all. I'm also simultaneously going to look at the chat box so that I can also engage you all into interaction and also can ask you your queries regarding paper 1. Okay, so let us start with this session for today. All right, so in this session, we are going to look at variety of strategies, as I stated, and a basic approach to crack the NTA UGC NET paper 1. I know that you all are aspirants, and I know that you all are preparing for the NTA UGC NET. I think you all may be from various fields with regards to paper 2. However, paper 1 being the general paper is a very important and a crucial paper. Although it is named as general paper, however, it is not very general. So NTA UGC net requires and tests you on majorly two major things, which is teaching aptitude and research aptitude. This is something that you should definitely take into consideration while preparing for the whole syllabus. You must definitely know what are you aiming for. You are going to be an educator after cracking this examination, or you're going to be an avid researcher after cracking this examination, which is why you should know the holistic perspective of what this exam demands you from. So let us now check out the different strategies which are required for this examination. Now let me start with the very syllabus. Now when you talk about this syllabus, let me just put it on the slideshow mode so that we can talk very efficiently. Okay. Now as you can see over here, the syllabus is the key. Syllabus is your companion. Syllabus is something that you have to keep hold of during or before starting the examination preparation, during the preparation, and also while revising the questions or while giving the test, or a revision, MCQ pattern revision for your examination, just before your examination. This is something which would act as your companion. Now why does syllabus hold a lot of importance? It is because unless you know all the things that are there presented in front of you, you would not have a holistic perspective about what this exam is going to demand from you. So this is the first thing. Then the next thing is what you know versus why you should, right? So in this segment, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. There's something known as things that you know. Things that you know, right? Then the second part of it is the things that are highly imperative for the examination purpose. So the things that you know is your syllabus, but apart from the syllabus, there are also very crucial key things that are there in your syllabus that have to be put a lot of focus on. So those are your focal points. So we'll talk about those things also, right? And then you have the third point is you definitely should make notes. A variety of notes are going to be available on the app as well. So when we are going to teach you from the very next segment that we'll have, we are going to teach you the whole syllabus, and in every segment that we teach, we are going to provide you with some notes and with some PDFs. So that is going to be a key for or a strategizing key for your revision. However, I would suggest you all that you have to keep on looking at the whole sub points of the syllabus and also try to emphasize on the guidance that is provided by us, so which is very important. Many a times you would see many notes which you would not find very you would not be able to comprehend them. So while doing that, the mentorship is comes handy. So that is something that is very important. Now let us move to the next slide. This is your syllabus for paper 1. Right now, this is your syllabus for paper 1, and this has teaching aptitude, research aptitude, reading comprehension, communication, mathematical and logical reasoning, then ICT, data interpretation, people development and environment, and higher education system. Now let me crack it for you, not just in a nutshell, but also let me bifurcate each of these syllabus in order to strategize for the examination purpose. The very first thing is your teaching aptitude. Teaching aptitude and research aptitude are two types of aptitudes which lay a lot of importance or have a lot of marks associated, specifically when we talk about paper 1. Because you're going to be an educator in the future, it is very much required for you to understand that this examination would demand from you a very interesting and a very nice and a very intact teaching and research aptitude. Because not just being an educator, but also if you want to pursue junior research fellowship, JRF, then of course an avid researcher is going to have a very good research aptitude. The person is going to be really inquisitive to know about the various things that are available in the paper 1, and which is why, and would be genuinely interested in teaching and also learning. Teaching does not only mean one-way communication, so communication also plays a huge part in paper 1. The different types of communication, the different categories of communication, formal and informal communication, verbal and written communication, everything has a very important logic, and which is why your logical reasoning and mathematical reasoning are also put in your syllabus. Now logical reasoning, mathematical reasoning and your data interpretation are going to have in total a very lesser weightage than what you have in teaching aptitude, research aptitude and communication. Many since the last 3 years, the pattern has had it that teaching aptitude questions, research aptitude questions have been plentiful. Then the second category of questions would come from communication. And of course, then you'll have a fixed set of reading comprehension and data interpretation questions, 5 questions each. And then whatever questions would be left would be asked from the reasoning part, the ICT part, the people development and environment part, and higher education part. For students who are avid learners, and the students who keep on reading a lot of books and material, I would specifically request all of you to lay emphasis on teaching and research aptitude the most, because this is the focal point of this examination. Because after cracking this examination, you are going to go on that side of the examination, which is going to be the side of the examiner, the side of the educator, the side of the evaluator, the side of the researcher and also a learner, which is why you need to have a major focus on these two things. Now let us also consider a few more facts. Well, okay. Of course, this session is specifically for all the aspirants, and I know that you all must always be insistent on when the paper is going to be next, and when the examination result is going to come out. So let me assure you that everything is going to be soon for both the cases. However, I am not the concerned authority, which is why I would not be able to give this free and verbal answer to you. However, I would definitely pursue you in and insist you into learning, continue your learning process in the midway, so that you will be prepared when the next examination notification is going to arrive on the website. So yes, now let us go ahead and let us consider the three things that are there. The three things that are there are teacher, guest speaker and students. Now while we learn about teaching aptitude, I would just give you a very small glimpse of what a student actually receives from the whole learning process. It is the teacher who imparts the knowledge. It is the students themselves who are engaged and motivated with the real world experiences that they have. And also the guest speaker who arrives, let's say, for some exclusive lectures on some very important topics, or some topics which are associated to real world, or some topics which are associated with the corporate world. So the students' achievements are actually based fundamentally on these three things, which definitely means out of these three, the major portions are taken by the educator, the imparter itself. So which is why this is the important zone that I want to bring out, or throw some light on with reference to teaching aptitude. You just do not need to learn and cramp up all the different things that are there in theory. This is something that you're going to do in practical after you crack the examination, which is why your whole approach and aptitude should be a very practical one. While you are going to impart the knowledge, you should have the whole idea how the curriculum has to be designed. You should be very, very much disciplined yourself so that you can be a good teacher and a good imparter. Only then your aptitude is going to get generated. You know, skills come from training. Skills come from training, and your knowledge comes from your theory. However, your experience that you share actually comes from within. What you are actually is translated in what you speak, and which is why it is very important for you as an educator in the future to be even like the prerequisites of an educator should also be inculcated in you while you prepare for this examination. All right, now let me walk you through the other very important part, which is your research learning approach, right? Now research learning approach also has four important segments. First is the different types of researches that are there. Normally questions arrive from while they are going to give you a scenario, and then you're going to be asked what type of research is that. So you would have to identify which type of research, and because while we learn the research, you actually come to know there are a lot of kinds of research, there are a lot of sampling types, there are a lot of different ways in which your hypothesis can be formed. So that is very important for you to know the types. The second is the chronology. Many a times a question would be asked in defining the chronology of the process of research. So do you start from the research problem, or do you start with making the hypothesis, or do you start from making the literature review, or do you start from sampling? You should know from what is the starting point and what is the end point, and what of course comes in the midway. So this again is a very highlighted portion which is normally asked. At least one question every time arrives with respect to chronology of the research process. Then comes your important terms. Why, by important terms, I mean while we learn the research uh, process or the research aptitude, how do you generate the aptitude? By learning the terms. Basic theory everyone can learn, everyone can understand in simple language, but when you do research, you should know the key terms like literature review. What do you mean by literature review? What is standard error? What is hypothesis? What is type 1 error, type 2 error? So all these terms should come in handy. These are the terms on which you should have your power. This is something this you should not shy away from these terms, because these terms may take five questions of yours, 5 or more questions of yours, because many a times, like since last 3 years, we have been observing that the research aptitude questions and teaching aptitude questions have been coming in plenty, which is why it is very important for you to learn these terms, and also it is going to be fruitful for you in the future as well. So this is not just the study till this cracking of the examination, it is for the future. So that is something which goes in the long run. And finally, to develop a certain aptitude, you have to have that from within, and which is why inquisitive aptitude, your basic yearning to learn more, is going to help you in defining or in inculcating the research aptitude within you. Okay, so now I'm going to just take up a few questions also. So is there any possibility of attending classes of only one specific portion of a paper 1 Well, I'm sorry to say the course is very integrated, and I believe that every segment is very much correlated to each other. Like I stated, that when you talk about teaching and research aptitude, then you also talk about communication skills. And when you talk about communication skills, you talk about a certain logic that you have to go with, and which is why you talk about logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is incomplete without a certain knowledge about the statistics and about some mathematical approach, which is why you have to learn and integrate it with mathematical reasoning and data interpretation. So however, the course has been designed in such a way that it would be taught to you in segments. However, the course is not going to be divided exclusively for an individual, because it is a very integrated course, and which is why I'm sorry to say that it is not going to be applicable. However, you can call up, or you can share your thoughts and suggestions on the numbers that are given in the description, so that it is going to be very easy for you to communicate with us. And we would also like to hear from you. What are your suggestions, and what do you think, what are your problems and worries with regards to paper 1, so that we would be much of help. So that is something that I would like to suggest. Right. Okay. Now, something that also I would want to tell is, how do you okay, the next thing that I want to tell is, after these three things, teaching aptitude, research aptitude, and your communication, which is a major chunk of your paper 1, then comes your reading and data interpretation. Reading comprehension is a very simple segment specifically to paper 1, because that is not their focal point of the examination. That is just so it is not going to be a very high level English that you will come across, which is why do not go for any highly complicated words, learning up the vocabulary. It is very good that you are learning, however, do not learn it specifically for this examination, because it is just going to kill your time. And reading comprehension is going to be a very fixed 5-question segment. Definitely, because this is not the focal point of this examination. It is just so that you know, so that they know that you have an analytical power, a comprehending power, something that is given. If you can comprehend properly, then definitely you can make people understand, and which is going to be a good skill within you, so that you can impart the knowledge, that you can go through the theory, and then you can share it with the students. So that is something that has been judged or is being tested with the help of the reading comprehension, nothing else. And also for data interpretation, many of the students waste a lot of time in data interpretation, and have they always complain that paper 1 was very lengthy because of data interpretation. So something that I should definitely point out over here is that, dear students, data interpretation, you have to deal with elimination of the options or MCQs. There are 4 things that would be given to you. Eliminating, how do you eliminate a specific option? How do you come out with an option? Just by a simple approximation. This is something that is going to be taught to you. So this is something that you should keep in mind, right? Normally, like many a times, only 1 out of 5 questions is given, so that that you have to solve fully. Otherwise, all the other 4 questions you can easily go by elimination or by approximation. Many a times you lose a lot of time in solving the whole questions, all 5 questions, which is going to kill your time, energy, and a lot of focus. So make sure that you relate to this, and of course the mentorship for doing that is going to be provided to you, right? And then you have in ICT. Well, when we talk about ICT, then definitely something that you can talk about is the different types of memory systems, the different types of systems that are there. This is a very static information that is going to be asked to you, unless a big innovation happens and it's in the news. ICT is going to be a very static segment, and again it is going to be relatively smaller, so you might get like a 3 or 4 questions from that. So that is again going to be very static portion. Then you have people, development and environment, which is something which is going to be from the news. So anything, any environmental treaty, anything related to sustainable development, any specific target made for the development of the people with relations to poverty, inequality, environment, any developmental issue that has recently come up, or any scheme that has been highlighted a lot, is generally a major focal point of this segment. Again, you will not see more than 5 questions from this segment also, because major of the chunk has been taken by teaching aptitude, research aptitude and communication, which is why you would see lesser from this portion, and this portion, and also this portion. Now when we talk about higher education system, it is very like next to impossible for any person to um, not just memorize everything that is there in the higher education with regards to constitution, with regards to roles and roles and obligations of president, vice president, prime minister and all the other superior authorities in the constitution. So it is next to impossible, and also it is not required. So, and also because the major focal point is not higher education system or administration right now, because that again you're going to learn in the future itself. So which is why you learn this, you give a read to it, but if you do not understand, or if you're not able to memorize things from this segment, make sure that you do not waste a lot of time in memorizing and learning a lot of things from this segment, because majorly you have to concentrate on these two, and then the next one is this one. This is something that is of key note that I have to tell you all. Then right, okay, now again I would like to see a little bit of chat. Okay, so what, okay, now if there are any queries with regards to the paper 1 or the any general queries, you can definitely ask me right now. Okay, so there is a portion of logical reasoning and mathematical reasoning that is yet to complete. So that is going to be completed in the next week. So that is going to be the answer to Astha over here. Paper research report writing in master degree of economics honors is very helpful too. Okay, now this is from Suchiang. This question which has been asked by you. So research methodology and that report writing that you might be having in different masters. So there are different masters for all the social studies students. And of course you would be having a dissertation program for all the students who are from MA and even MBA, right? And for all those students you would also be dealing with a segment in your MA or MBA which is research methodology, in which you would have report writing. So that knowledge of report writing would definitely help you, because there you actually learn about a lot of research methodology, because you have to make like a small dissertation thesis, mini thesis. So that is going to be a very very integral part of your study. That is something that you should definitely seek, and those notes are very important, because therein you learn about hypothesis, you learn about sampling, you learn about the different types of research, you learn also about data interpretation, analysis and all those things. So yes, by if I talk about the content, yes, it is a very important content that you can definitely use for studying NTA UGC net examination for paper 1, right? All right. And yes, Neha has written. Okay, so when we talk about news, when I say news, it basically means that everything that is related to general awareness. General awareness. What I mean by general awareness is nothing specific in particular. So generally something that you should be aware about. You should be aware about a new education policy that has recently come up. You should be generally aware about the new environmental policy that has recently come up. What are the pros and cons of it? What are the problems that have been highlighted? What are the different types of pollutions, and what are the different pollutants that have been highlighted, so which are causing a major problem? What are the things that are talked about in sustainable development issues? What are the different targets that have to be met? Okay. All right. So, sorry for the delay. There was a little connection error because of which we could not proceed further. So, I'll quickly now conclude by what more things are required for you all to strategize. Something that you are very much required is to stay updated. As I just mentioned to you all, that being updated means to being generally aware about your surroundings, about the developmental issues, about environment, about something that has recently come up with regards to higher education system, something that you can generally be aware about with the help of simple reading of newspapers, news articles, or of course there would also be some supplements that we would be providing to you with regards to net paper 1, which would be available on the app, so that you can be updated from time to time with regards to what are very important things which are there in the paper 1. Then you have something known as time management. Time management is very important for you to be disciplined, for you to be aware about the whole syllabus, and also how do you time your different segments, so that you can finish off before the examination, and then still you have some time left for you to revise and to do the different MCQs. Also refer to the previous year questions. Also on our app we make you avail the different previous year questions, and also would tell you in each segment that we teach what are the different types of focal points in last year questions, so that you would get an idea about how the streamline of these paper one this paper one goes. Then of course, something that you have to definitely make sure is to always boost your confidence, and finally to take some time out so that you can revise all the different segments and also time your tests properly. So those are all the different things that would give you some extra competitive edge, and which is going to be wonderful while you prepare for your net examination. So that was all from our side. Make sure that you keep learning, and make sure that you keep visiting our website so that you can know more about the paper 1 UGC net, and also make sure that you keep on your learning process, and whenever you would require any help from us, we are always available on our app and through our website. You can connect us on our website and on the given phone numbers which are given in the description below. Thank you so much for joining on today's segment, and we are going to be meeting you soon. Specifically, if we talk about paper 1, then definitely from tomorrow onwards, and definitely in the next segments, live segments also, with regards to different question and answer rounds and with regards to strategies. So thank you so much for this session, and have a very nice day. Thank you.